Okay, stop me if you've heard this one before, but I'm gonna keep this short. Okay, small talk's over. Okay, I'm done. Let's review the iPhone 12 mini. So you've probably heard the rumors by now. Apple is allegedly going to cease production on the iPhone 12 mini because of low volume sales. There's actually more to the story because of chip shortages, so it's a fair play by Apple to rather spend those resources on the devices that are selling more. So then they'll be free to pick up production again once the cloud of this pandemic and those associated chip shortages is over. Well, at least I hope that's the case, because I truly, madly, deeply adore this smartphone. It's about the size of a teaspoon, and it's the perfect device for just snackable interactions with a smartphone. And it flies in the face of the current trend of big screen devices that want to be your only source of nourishment. Put it this way, you can get an iPhone 12 mini, plus you can get an 8th gen iPad and a Gen 1 Apple Pencil, a pair of Beats Flex earphones, and the smart keyboard for that iPad. Throw in some iCare Plus on the house that covers both those devices as well. So that whole shopping list at the iStore is cheaper than going to Samsung and paying whatever they are charging for the Galaxy S21 Ultra. You're still getting a 5G connected smart device. You're still getting great cameras. You are still getting a stylus compatible media consumption machine, and it's for a cheaper price. So that little thought experiment didn't include a case or a power bank. Why? Because this phone is a wonderful thing to hold. I still provided the review device with a case. I took it out because you just want to touch and hold and feel this thing, the squared off sides, the glass back. You just want to enjoy this design. And I haven't dropped this phone. It hasn't slipped out of my pocket because it isn't humongous, and the battery endurance is fine. I remember just a couple of years ago, if a phone was getting consistent 6.5 hours screen on time, it would be near the very top of my battery endurance leaderboard. Even driving this camera hard on a whole day beach day, and we got there quite early and we got back way after lunchtime, this thing still pulled 4.5 hours of screen on time, which was really, really good. And that was in the blazing hot sun. Like, I left it directly in the sun for like a long time. So this thing was cooking, but still stuck it out. No stutters, no weird things happening with the camera. Samsung. Look, this isn't a 2-day phone by any stretch of the imagination, but it will get you comfortably past 13 hours of active moderate use, which is perfectly fine for people who charge their phones overnight anyway. What will affect that though is if you're shooting 4K video all the time. So obviously on the 64GB, that is not your main priority. Most people don't shoot 4K on smartphones all the time. They're not producing videos like this, which is being shot on the LG G8X ThinQ. So I praise the iPhone 11 camera as being one of the very best. That was a special thing when they brought in the Deep Fusion update as well. So this retains all of that hardware when it comes to the camera, brings in the new smarts from the A14 Bionic chip, and the new processing power gives it the ability to do night mode across all 3 of the cameras. But if I'm being honest, this camera does not feel special at all. It's kind of like the Golf GTI of smartphone cameras, if you know what I'm saying. So it like does everything really well, but it's just boring. Working within 5 meters of the camera lens, untouchable. That Deep Fusion and Apple's AI image processing chops really shines at close distances. But the moment you put some distance between you and the subject and you add more background, it's like the AI doesn't really know what to do and how to process things. And then you start to get like weird things, and the consistency between shots drops off dramatically. Like, you'll get a couple of bangers, but some of them will just be like watercolor paintings, and you'll be like, why did you make those decisions? For the more serious photographers, it's a pity that ProRes RAW is only supported on the Pro cameras. When it comes to the standard iPhone 12s, none of that happens. Like, having the ability to shoot RAW, and especially like the way Apple's recompiling those RAWs, where it's almost like using that HDR effects on it, that would have been really interesting at this price point. Video quality is still among the best you're gonna get on a smartphone, but I feel that Apple is stagnating on this particular hardware, and should have maybe equipped this with that sensor shift sensor from the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And that's the tragic flaw with the iPhone 12 family. When Apple started doing that thing where it had like multiple iPhones in a year, it would at least equip all of them with the same main camera. Now there's that definitive line: if you want the best camera quality, you have to go with the biggest and most expensive iPhone, whereas I think they should have equipped all iPhone 12s with that sensor. Maybe that's going to happen in iPhone 13, so then I'd say wait. But they might not revisit the small one, so I don't know. Get this now. Look, if you want an iPhone 12 at a more palatable price, this is the phone for you. If you live an active lifestyle, like if you're a runner, mountain biker, that sort of thing, and you need something small with a great camera that you can stash away, that's light also, and can work with all of the apps that you need, like the Stravas and the Polar and everything, this is the phone for you. If you want your 15,500 Rand phone to be your primary computer, primary video media consumption screen, you need to look elsewhere. The iPhone 12 mini can do everything I expect an iPhone or a modern flagship smartphone to do. But it can also get out of the way and let me live my life in the moments in between using the phone. I will happily replace my 2016 iPhone SE with this device, and I will love it every single day, even if it takes Apple another 4 years to bring a tiny iPhone to the market again. This is my favorite smartphone right now. But that's just my opinion. I'm Lindsay. I'll catch you in the next one.